Creativity in Progress. Hello and welcome to Creativity in Progress, where we talk about creativity in a podcast. My name is Nathan Beatty, and here with me I have
Ethan Murphy, Nathan's best friend.
Hello, Ethan. How you doing today?
I'm super.
You're super?
I'm super.
You're super. Why are you super?
Well, there's a few reasons. One, I'm actually wearing a Superman shirt. And
that's true.
Of course. And the reason for that is because my official nickname from a friend of mine is Superman. Now, but before we get into that, let me ask you a very personal question. Highly offensive and inappropriate.
Okay.
How are you?
I can't believe you asked me that.
I'm sorry. It's 2019.
I know. I thought we talked about this.
We did, and I crossed the line.
I'm doing well. I'm doing well.
Okay.
I'm doing good. Having a good time today. The in-laws have arrived today, and Ethan, you got a little bit of a taste of that coming in.
Just a skosh.
It was just walking into a hurricane there.
Yeah, it was.
That is the clan, the family of the warden.
Right. Yes. I thought you could play that little sad violin music there, but you took the high road apparently.
Yes.
No, you didn't.
Yeah. No, I didn't did not take the high road. Throwing that in there. But let's stop that because that's just And we need to get to our guest.
Oh,
Ethan, can you tell us about our guest today? I'm very excited.
I can. As I mentioned before, I'm super. The reason I am super is directly connected to our very super guest. This man has been in Hollywood for over at least 2 decades. He has done just about everything imaginable to bring all kinds of films to the screen, big and small. He has literally got the baby's blue eyes you'll ever see. He is the one, the only executive of all executives, John Lechago. Mr. John Lechago, how are you, sir?
I'm good.
Awesome.
What an introduction. I don't know if all of that is necessarily, well, that's true, I guess, but something stretched. So thank you.
No, thank you.
Baby's blue eyes are only when I'm on my deathbed.
In that case, we have bad news.
I must say, I really enjoyed your. Yeah. I really enjoyed your reaction, the look on your face as he was giving you that intro. That was very good. I like that.
Well, you have to understand, I'm pretty much a behind the camera guy, and so it's like it's just you guys know nerds.
Yes.
It's basically. I'm just going, oh, shucks. I want to stay behind. I'm not very. I don't have very much experience in front of the camera, so it gets a little bit getting used to.
No, but we definitely get that. I mean, definitely appreciate you making an appearance.
Yeah, definitely
on our podcast. We are going to display your face all over every bit of merchandise we have. You're going to be our new brand will just be your face. But thanks again for stopping by. How are you doing today, sir?
Oh, doing good. Real busy. My in-laws are also in
town.
Pros and cons to that. So Nathan will know this. They get to help wrangle the little ones.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So I actually got more work done. Of course, simultaneously, I had an avalanche of work, so I was like, "Oh, no rest for the wicked."
No.
And I'm now trying to juggle 3 projects at one time. So because I'm helping, and I guess we'll get to this. Charles Band with his latest slate. I'm directing one movie for him in that slate, but I'm also working on pretty much almost every other film in one capacity or other to, help them produce the best possible product that they can.
Mm-hmm.
And another project for Charles Van, which is actually I think we can talk about that too. But trying to figure that one out is kind of difficult because it's restoring a old David Allen film.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, I think it might be his only film. David Allen was in the circles of stop motion animators.
Yes.
A great stop motion animator, and he has unfortunately passed a few years ago. And his proteges are trying to finish it, and somehow I got roped into that too.
I love it.
And then, of course, doing work with Platinum Studios, which is how I met Ethan Murphy.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Yeah.
And Superman. Stuff. So that is all actually doing a little bit of all of that today. So it's I'm tired, I'll be honest.
but I mean, again, we definitely appreciate you making some time for us amidst your overwhelming schedule. And I guess just a quick way to kind of get this thing going, get this thing started is what title would you, I guess, say best describes you in Hollywood? As you said, you obviously are part of multiple projects. You're part of multiple studios too. You have your own studio. But what title do you think best describes you in a nutshell?
Well, I'll just say immediately, I love writing and directing.
Mm-hmm.
I love writing and directing. That's it. Kind of like, and which comes, every so often and stuff. So which is why then you have a whole bunch of work in the middle and everything.
Yeah.
But that is my love. I love just trying to put story together. Mm-hmm. And when you write and direct movies, and also I do have a hand in editing as well. You get to write it 3 times. You write it when you write it. You write it again when you shoot it. You write it again when you edit it. Mm-hmm. And I think what I love most about directing is I actually get to interact with other people. I love to collaborate.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So the title, if things keep going on this track, is to be purely known as writer director.
Awesome.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. Now I have a question for you because now I come from a mostly on stage acting background. I'm sorry. That's fine. Yeah.
I'm just kidding. That's fantastic. That's great. Which means you learn your lines.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have to.
Yeah, you got to have a good memory with that, which I don't, so that makes it fun. But it's the challenge. But also I've done acting, I've done stuff on stage and off stage, but I've directed, and I'm always I know obviously there's differences between directing a play versus directing a movie, but I'm interested to know, because, both of them are collaborative efforts. You're pretty much wrangling everybody, but, together to do stuff. But I'm interested, could you just kind of give a rundown of, as best as possible of what a director of a movie does, from day to day?
Yeah. Okay. So please repeat the last question was, you broke up.
Okay. Oh, sorry. So yeah, what could you like kind of explain, as simple as possible, what a director does from day to day? Because, I know it from a stage perspective, but, I'm very interested in what a director of a film would do compared to on stage.
Okay. So for film, and this is actually probably most true for micro-budget filmmakers. So let me make this clear to the audience and everything. I mean, micro-budget filmmaker, I've directed 7 films, and they were all with very, very, very small budgets. And then I've also been part of a couple other larger budget films that have been made by people who have been in huge Hollywood films. And the difference, there is a difference as well. So for micro budget films, you really have to have a handle on everything. You have to be able to guide the entire production from beginning to end, and just have a very, very strong. I think that and I've known other micro budget directors, you have to have enough of a skill set where you can really basically take care of every aspect. It's not just telling actors what to say, how to react, which isn't necessarily true. If you have a good relationship with the actors and everything is going well, you don't tell them what to do or how to react when you're shooting on film. Mm-hmm. A successful film directing with actors, in my opinion, and I think this is shared by a lot of directors, because I've, of course, besides directing, I've studied directing and directors. A good relationship is just allowing the actors to understand the level they need to be and what's happening during the scene. Let them do their craft. Let them do their, use their skill set. It's actually directing and acting are 2 different skill repertoires. You don't have to know how to act to be a good director. You have to be able to know how to describe to the actor their environment and where they are in the story and what you need. Yeah. And then that's it. So going back to the beginning, otherwise, as far as directing micro budget films, it's mostly, I think you have to know how to write.
Mhm.
All the successful ones I've known were really good screenwriters as well. And you have to know how to set up your shots in a formula. Because you have, when you're doing micro budget stuff, you have like my most luxurious shoot was 12 days.
Wow.
That is wow.
For the layperson, that's very, very, very short. Usually movies are about 2.5 to 3 months.
My shortest shoot was 5 days, and we got it all, and we did. And so, the thing is, you can't storyboard everything.
Right.
And because storyboarding actually takes a long time to shoot storyboard. So what you do is you kind of do key art. You just say, oh, I want to hit this frame, hit that frame, and then you have to use a formula.
Right.
You say my formula is, here's the secret, which is no secret. You do your establishing shot wide, then you move to your 2 shots. And by the way, you don't have to finish the entire scene on establishing wide shots. I've seen a lot of new directors make that mistake, and the actors, you don't have the budget for rehearsals. If you get rehearsals, that's great, but usually no. So the actors come in and they kind of get it as they're going through the scene. So you let them just get through the first part of the scene, a little bit into it, and then maybe you shoot the outro, and then you go into the 2 shots, then you go into the singles, which means you're just on one person, then you turn the camera, about 90 degrees, do cross coverage, shoot the other person, make sure they don't step on the lines, and with each take, hopefully you're whacking it out. With each take, they get a rehearsal out of it.
Right.
So by the time, right? Yeah. So by the time you're going for the close-ups, which then you don't have to do the whole scene again. You could probably just do the second half of the scene near the end in your nice juicy close-ups. Nice full frame stuff. Then they have the scene, they understand, and you're getting the best acting out of them for that moment and stuff. And then you have something that the director can take that the editor can take, which in most cases is me as well, and hold it to a scene. Right. That has, a nice rising, basically a nice rising intensity. You get closer and closer and closer to the actors until you have, the point in the scene where it basically, each scene is like a mini movie.
Yeah, that's what I thought too.
Your I don't know what you call it, your zenith, your plateau, your moment, and then you're out to the next.
Right. Well, one thing you brought up there
I
too.
think that's what directors, micro-budget directors, really do.
Well, yeah, and that makes sense from what I've heard and what I understood as well. Is that oftentimes micro films or lower budget films, the directors oftentimes have to wear many hats. And I know you obviously on a personal level, so I know you have an extensive background in doing many different things. You've done everything from illustrating to special effects to actual practical effects, makeup, and that kind of stuff. And I know before you actually went to film school multiple times for writing and, of course, for directing itself. So what made you decide you wanted to be an actual director? Because that's something that's such an ambitious endeavor to do, especially since you have so much free time.
Right. I know. Right. Well, I think that goal has existed for a long time. So should we talk about the Chuck Norris connection?
Of course. Yeah. Of course. Yeah. Start from the beginning, the very beginning, you and your brother.
Okay. From the very beginning, I was actually born in Canada to Argentinian parents, and then we moved here when I was 4 years old, along with my fraternal twin brother, who doesn't look that much like me. He actually looks Hispanic, He looks like my mom, I look like my dad and stuff. And we didn't know very much English when we started school. Our parents were like, maybe that's what would be a problem. So we were weird and small, and on the first day, they were beating us up. So my dad said, shoot, I should probably put them in martial arts class. We are here in Southern California, and he did a little research at the time, because remember, I'm going to be this old, you can find out. One of the best schools, one of the schools with the best reputation was Chuck Norris's school.
Of course.
Yeah, of course. His karate school, and that's how, Bruce Lee got to know him and stuff. And we happened to actually move into the same neighborhood as where Chuck Norris is living. We didn't know this. and where Bruce Lee's family was living.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
In fact,
That's crazy.
Shannon Lee used to sit in front of me in the 3rd grade.
It's amazing.
You know?
Wow.
And I didn't know she was Shannon Lee. I thought the people were blowing smoke up my butt. So,
It seems like it was a very safe neighborhood.
Yeah, you can't have the greatest martial arts imaginable. No one's gonna probably do any crime there.
So he puts me in the class, me and my brother, in this Friday class, and all of a sudden, the week afterwards, they show an answer print on 60 millimeter film of his first movie before it went out to the theaters, which was called Breaker Breaker. Yep. And I was going, oh, this is cool. I look around the class, and I saw the adults in the class are getting beat up by Chuck Norris on film. It's like, wow, this is great. 2.5 years later, he did another movie called The Force of One, where he's a martial arts teacher, and he has a classroom, and they just use us kids. And I'm here. This is before the days of digital video, of course, and it's cool lights. So they had these huge cameras, huge lights, and best of all, catering, craft service.
Yes, that is the best part.
Food truck, and I thought this is the best thing in the world. Yes. I want to make movies. I wanted to make martial arts movies, which I might still. Hold on just one second. Continue talking. I must close the door.
Oh.
But, I think the kids know how to defeat they're called privacy locks.
Yes. Yeah. They're not childproof locks, they're just privacy locks.
Oh, yeah.
But I love how your single biggest motivation for becoming a master filmmaker was Chuck Norris pre-beard. And then it's such an epic story, and then also the craft services, which of course is a great thing too. But that's awesome because it also is kind of one of those things where who better to inspire someone to get involved in film than their idol, who is it's such a great connection there.
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah, I mean, I don't know if Chuck is my idol. He was just the head of the school,
Yeah.
Sure. Well, he's my idol. Beard or no beard, he's my idol.
I see beard in your future. I think it looks more like it's Nathan's idol.
He kind of does.
Yeah,
he does.
I did actually have a Chuck Norris action figure as a child. It was I can't even remember from what it was, but I remember he had a orange vest on, but it's neither here nor there.
We'll find footage of that too to put up on the YouTube stream.
I'll just put up a picture of it.
So actually, I didn't finish answering your question.
Oh,
but that got me interested in film, and I love to write and I love to draw and stuff. So I just started to draw and write, and then but what happened was after I was maybe about 20 years old, and I was writing, and just the statistics came back. It's very hard to break in writing because anyone can write. So you're competing against not 1,000, but literally thousands of other screenplays.
Yeah.
So it seemed and most of them are bad. But yeah, it's true. And you might have the greatest screenplay in the world, but if you don't get seen, it doesn't matter. So I said, well, you know what? I'll shoot a couple of scenes. I'll just try it. I didn't know what I was doing, so I bought. It was in my early 20s. I bought a video camera. I didn't know what the hell I was doing. I was living in Santa Cruz at the time. I got a whole bunch of local crazy college students who were friends of mine to shoot a few scenes, and it was a disaster at the beginning. And things were falling apart.
Oh my god!
And then I got mad. It was like, started ordering people around and stuff, and just kind of tried to get a grip on stuff. And then afterwards, says, "Oh wow, that was really great." After this point, we're really, oh shoot, well, I don't want to be mad at people, but I understood what happened when I took control.
Right.
I actually people liked it, and I got what I wanted.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't have to yell. Actually, I've been on sets where directors have been yellers, and they were not in control. Actually,
exactly,
not in control. But taking control and still being able to collaborate, I started to kind of get the idea of how to do that at that time. So I still didn't make my own film, but that got me on the track of wanting to. Yes, I want to direct. So I started to take steps to try and learn what I could, which meant going back to school, going to do art school, then film school, taking more martial arts classes, not because I thought I'd have to fight anyone on set.
But in case you did have to.
Yes, but in case I did, I could take a punch.
Yeah.
I'm not an offensive kind of guy. I'm really not.
No.
But I get beat up really well and come back for more. So that is actually important. No, what I did with the martial, I went to this school. It's called South Texas School of Judo. Way back in the day, it no longer exists. But I went there with intent of becoming a teacher's assistant and stuff, so that I could kind of start understanding how to, in practice, controlling groups of people.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, nice.
And not controlling them in just having control, just being able to lead them.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then, I finally made my first film after a failure. So that's another lesson for people who want to do this. It's like, if you fail, that's part of it. Don't worry about it.
Exactly.
Pick yourself up and keep on going. I don't do the same thing, make an adjustment. And then if you fail again, make another adjustment, keep going. But I finished my first film, was called Blood Gnome. We shot it on mini DV. And that was like 5 years later, in 2002. And that one was successful.
Right on. Nice.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
This is good.
That's not bad for a sophomore movie to be.
Yeah. Now, I'm curious. So since 2002, what have you seen that has changed in the business? Because I know, at least from an outsider's perspective, the business has changed drastically in that time. What have you seen?
Yeah, well, it's very strange. In one way, technology has had a huge effect because you don't have to cherish each foot of film like it costs $1 million.
Right.
It kind of did.
Yeah.
It's very expensive. 1 foot of film was dollars. 1 foot of film was, a flash in the pan when it goes to the camera. And now you can shoot, hours for rather cheaply, and it's high quality. So I think that's it. And I think it changed. It didn't necessarily make things better. It just made it different. Because people tend to shoot a lot of crap.
Yeah.
And then with the idea that, we'll just get the shot and then we'll fix it in post. We have all these great tools in post-production now that will just, all this great firepower with these amazing computers that, we had no idea. They could do miracles, but they don't actually do miracles.
Yeah.
They can fix stuff, but at the end of the day, you don't get really good stuff.
Yeah.
And even with big budget films these days, and I'm looking at you, Marvel. For the most part, the stuff looks good. I see a lot of shots and I'm going, but you just don't have the care in this composition. I'm looking at something and say, sure, it's got a lot of professionals, it looks good and it looks slick, but it's kind of missing because I just don't see the kind of care that it had that when they composed shots, for instance, with Ridley Scott's Legend.
Sure. Yeah.
That is a beautiful film.
Yeah.
No visual effects. And it's just, it's just so awe-inspiring.
Right.
So I think it's just different. And the thing is, certainly we can do awe-inspiring stuff with today's technology. I think also what also changed was because of social media, our attention spans are not as attentive anymore. These days, movies tend to hit you with a quick pace. And I'm not saying that that's bad, but I think that people don't understand what quick pace is.
Yeah.
You can have something that, kind of builds tension and kind of seems to have a great pace that is vibrant and exciting. It literally vibrates, I think.
Right.
Certain movies and certain old movies, they're not as cutty. or anything or action packed, but they have just this amazing tension, and you can feel a different kind of pace. And I say this because I've talked to producers before, because I've been talked about and being hired on other shows, but I turned them down, because ultimately I said, I can't do this. I just gag after gag after gag in the script. It's like, no, we want you. Well, we can do this movie. We can get the budget. And I'm just going. I said, no, I can't do this movie. It's a mess. So, and the movie hasn't been produced yet. But they're like, oh, but our feedback is, it's got to be a gag a minute.
A gag a minute. Yeah, that's exhaustive. That's exhaustive.
Yeah, it's exhausting. It's exhausting. I think, what about just a few really good gags and some really good dialogue and some really good editing and stuff and a really good story? You gotta have a little bit of breathing room there. So I think that's, that's.
And that's a good point, though. It seems like, because obviously, as the industry, yes, has changed since 2002, like Nate said, but also people, like you mentioned, have changed so much too, and it goes hand in hand with one another. And I know one thing that you're a big fan of, and you obviously you're a fan of the genre films, everything from like John Carpenter to, like you mentioned, Tim Curry and Legend, Ridley Scott. But one of the movies that you like to make the most yourself are obviously horror films. And is it because with horror, more or less, you're a fan of horror films?
I like sci-fi too.
It's sci-fi too. Is the reason that you're such a fan of those films, or making those films, because you essentially get to have a chance to bring back the effects that were of old, or that you have a chance to kind of pace things differently than you would in the other kind of film?
Well, that's a great question. I think that it's not really effects. I mean, some people know me as an effects artist, and I keep on saying, no, I'm not. I just do them because I can't afford anyone else. And I understand it. And I love those old time effects, but I am absolutely a believer in the new effects, in the power of new effects, and the people that work with it well. My hats off to them. I think they're doing it right. And who don't abuse it, who don't use it too much, who do some really creative things with it and stuff. Why I like horror and sci-fi is it just kind of, it's just more fun, honestly. What else can I say? I think intellectually I love sci-fi because it could really be mind expanding depending on what you're talking about.
Yeah, very true.
Softcore sci-fi, which is usually Star Trek, to more hardcore stuff, which I don't think I've seen in a long time. Hardcore sci-fi. I don't know. What do you think, Ethan? Or Nathan? The last hardcore sci-fi that comes to my brain is it's probably Andromeda.
Yeah, that's a good one. I was thinking of Interstellar, but that might be still. That's.
I didn't see it.
Okay.
I guess I got to see it. I've heard.
Yeah. Andromeda is obviously definitely one for series and that kind of stuff. Yeah.
What was
that one?
What was the one with Natalie Portman?
Oh yes. Oh my God.
I gotta look it up.
To kind of refine my answer, and then horror is I don't know, maybe it's people misunderstand what I like. Is I love monsters.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So my answer should be the same as Guillermo del Toro's
Nice.
answer.
No, being in the same bracket as Guillermo del Toro is an amazing, wondrous thing. And it's funny, not to get too much into this, but somewhat. The way I met John was last year at a convention in LA. And he came up to my table and he saw the books. He saw my main series, Slade and Nash, on the table. And the thing you said to me was, does it have monsters? And I said, well, kind of. It's a sympathetic creature, they're like golems and stuff like that. And I told him that's basically like Big Trouble in Little China meets The Walking Dead. He goes, oh my gosh, that's perfect. So the enthusiasm and the glee you had in your eye for monsters is definitely palpable. I mean, you definitely love your monsters.
Yeah. Okay, let's talk about Slade and Nash. Let's do that.
Segue to Slade and Nash.
Oh, quick! Before we segue, it was Annihilation. Was the name of the movie?
Yeah, you're right. That was off the wall. Yeah, okay.
I'll check that out. Okay, Slade and Nash. So yes, it was L.A. Comic-Con. The boss, Scott Mitchell Rosenberg, wasn't there, so I'm now doing one of my many clients is Platinum Studios.
Yeah.
And so I'm now in development, which I kind of fell in a strange manner because I'm not from the comic book world.
No.
I'm purely film and have getting a reputation in micro budget filmmaking with Full Moon and everything. But I was introduced to him and stuff, and we were talking, and eventually started to like my ideas. Like, oh, okay, well, this is interesting. I would interpret his comic book properties differently, and we started to talk about more and more. And so, okay, great. Well, let's see if we can do some work together. So then we go out to these shows, and one thing Scott Mitchell Rosenberg also does is he likes to meet with new talent and everything, but he wasn't able to be there that day. So I walk up to Ethan's table, and the covers look pretty nice and everything. I saw some monstrous stuff, which kind of made me especially because I love monsters, right? But all of a sudden, then I'm getting peppered with questions like, "Hey, you look like the kind of person who would like, Big Trouble in Little China." I'm paraphrasing.
Yeah, no, that's
I'm also paraphrasing my answer. I love Big Trouble in Little China.
That's a good impression of yourself. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I'm good at my side. Well, actually, I'm not that good at I can't even do my side. But, and then we started talking about iconic characters that are kind of a little bit different than you expect, and this was intriguing. So because we talked about what's it, Jack
Burton.
Burton.
Jack Burton.
Jack Burton. Sounds almost as good as Ethan Murphy. So okay, cool. I will read this, but please, you got to bug me to read it. You got to nudge me. And out of everyone, because I tell everyone that because things are so complicated. We have still stacks of comic books we have to read through. So I tell everyone, if you want your thing read, you got to bug me. And Ethan, start bugging me.
Yes, I can do that very well.
Which is great.
Mm-hmm.
You want to get in the industry, bug people.
Mm-hmm.
If they reject you for that, good, because the thing is that they could very well. It's great to be rejected by actually making contact rather than never making contact at all.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Being ghosted by executives and legends in Hollywood is not a good thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
You have to bug. So that's great. So I finally read it, and I was like, oh wow, this is different and entertaining. It's I like it. This is good. So I took it to Scott Mitchell Rosenberg and I said, okay, read this one, because if I had the chance, I would direct this one.
Mm-hmm. Big compliment. Big compliment.
That's awesome.
For everyone out there, find Ethan Murphy's books and read them because first of all, they do the number one thing, which for all creative stuff is key for me. It does not bore.
Thank you.
I know it sounds silly, but really, I forgot which famous filmmaker, which I should have this memorized, said that, but he was, just a legendary from the old-timey days and stuff. His number one thing was, "Thou shalt not bore."
Like real old-timey days, yeah. Like the Bible.
I know. My brain is mush. The second thing was that it is different, and that's what I liked about it. Though is each time you set up a situation, okay, all right, this could be the possible outcomes, and whoa, it's something different. Mm-hmm. Wow, that's exactly what I would have done, but I didn't expect it.
That's funny.
Kind of. I was so excited by that. It's like, I should have thought of that.
Awesome. Well, I stole it from you somehow.
Yeah, exactly. It's whatever way. It's good. It's good.
Mm-hmm. But I definitely appreciate that. You can't quite tell, but I'm blushing. I'm blushing through my darker skin.
Well, unexpected yet satisfying. So that's kind of cool. And that's not an easy thing to do. I'm kind of learning a little bit more about Ethan. It's just grew up watching all these buddy TV shows and this kind of media. Okay, I get it. It's like, oh well, you've ingested a lot of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, you've watched, read a lot of stuff, and thought about it. That's how you do it. There's no easy way. You're not born with it.
Yeah, exactly.
you're born with a hunger, or you're born with a passion.
Yes,
but you got to actually put in the work.
Yeah,
yeah.
I could tell because, and then I read another book, and just like small nuanced things where it's like where you can interject a line or something said that perfectly fits and makes sense, but I wasn't expecting that. So that's kind of so I have high hopes working with Ethan one day.
Right. Yes. Thank you. And that's also part of the part of the beauty of this that we wanted to announce too, is that John Lechago and I will be working together in the future soon as well in projects and different things too. So I'm very excited about that. I mean, as my own expression, I'm fully erect. I'm fully erect for that. To work with John.
Attention, yes. So Platinum Studios is engaging with Ethan on Slate and Ash, and then I'm going to basically hopefully get in on that development and get it prepped, because basically what Platinum Studios mostly does now is actually, I mean, there's still a publisher. It's Scott Mitchell-Rosenberg, but he's now basically going to his first love, which is taking his already existing huge library of properties and then acquiring other ones that he likes and developing them for film and television. Awesome. So we've been doing this for a while, talking to Ethan, and finally, Scott Mitchell-Rosenberg read the book and he likes it and he's picking it up, and he likes it so much so that in its most recent, and for basically, correct me if I'm wrong, Ethan, in most recent printing has a quote from Scott. Yeah,
the trade has an official quote from Scott.
Right.
Awesome. We actually wanted to get a quote from John, because I'm obviously very close to John. But John was like, how would we actually get a quote from the big man himself? So it has
Get Scott. I can always write something later or whatever. It happened. He was happy to do so, but you do owe him a signed copy.
Yes, that's right. Yes, I won't forget. I will not forget. I will not forget.
I need a signed copy and stuff. So, which means he's a fan. So that's good.
Very, very flattering. Very flattering.
I think in the overall theme of what we're talking about here in creativity is this is just the beginning of, again, another just slate of a lot of work. The success is really what I'm finding out now, and I'm older than most people, and kind of still just gaining my reputation, more films and stuff, and what have you, is like, not everyone is lucky as like the Wachowskis.
Sure.
Out. And of course, they're the amount of work that they put into their stuff before they made a film was huge and everything. But what an amazing break getting getting a deal with Silver Pictures, and then The Matrix. So it's if only we're all that lucky. Right. If you're not, don't worry about it. You just continue working and working,
exactly.
And doing the best you can. And each time you do another work, you will learn something. Right. Hopefully, if you look back at your past projects, you're just, oh my God, I can't believe I did that. So I'm excited, because I think that basically Slate and Ash being represented by Platinum Studios means just the beginning. So
hopefully, I'm looking forward to it.
But yes, okay. Now segue. I'm going to throw back to Ethan about other on the total other end of the scale of production companies. Full Moon.
Oh, yes, of course. Yeah, Full Moon. That's right. And so Full Moon is obviously what John has worked with the most. And Full Moon, he's made, I don't know how many, but 35,000 movies with Full Moon.
Yes, I think so.
But you have so right now I know you're working on producing yourself several pictures with Full Moon. You're actually directing, and you're involved with several movies with them. You've made several movies with them before in the past, and you're making more with them again. And I was going to try to give you the opportunity to kind of basically just tell us about the movies you have, your projects you have upcoming with them, and what you guys are up to, what you guys are doing.
Okay, well, with Full Moon right now, their project is called The Deadly 10.
Yep.
You can go to deadly10.com.
Word.
It's flashing up on your screen now. Deadly10.com. And it's free. You just register an email, your login, and then you get to see their newest slate of 10 films that they are documenting and live streaming the making of while we do some pre-production, but also while we shoot. So while we shoot these films, behind the scenes is going to live stream it at the same time. So we'll see what happens. So you get to see from probably one of the most famous micro-budget film companies,
Yes.
Full Moon. You see how some masters of a micro-budget do it. Which it might get messy. There might be some yelling. I think there's some old hands at it that are coming back. There's some newbies, so that who knows,
Right.
Now the thing is, I'm only producing my film that I'm doing, but I think it's one of the more anticipated ones in the slate. For Full Moon, they're most famous for a franchise called Puppet Master, and now I'm doing their Puppet Master movie.
It's awesome. That's amazing.
Yeah. So here's another lesson for people who want to break into the industry. When you want something, jump at it. I was actually offered 2 other films in the slate, and I said no. I want Puppet Master.
Wow.
I want Puppet Master. Give me Puppet Master. I'm the best guy for it.
That's amazing.
I was very aggressive. So okay. So it's like,
That's incredible.
About Puppet Master,
Mhm.
and Charles Band said, but I thought you didn't want to do puppet movies with puppets. And I said, no, plural, no. This one's called Blade. It's just the main puppet.
Yes.
Blade's cool, and I have this dream of having Wesley Snipes do the motion.
I can't tell you how amazing that would be if he came into a puppet master of any kind. If you have Wesley Snipes on the set, I lose my mind.
Yeah. Most likely, the situation is I might ask him, and he'll punch me in the face. Martial arts training and background, I'll be able to take that punch.
That's right. It's destiny. It's your destiny. It's your destiny.
It is destiny.
Well,
Actually, now I'm getting buzzed.
Oh, sorry.
All right.
No, we know you've kept you a long time, but was there anything you wanted to ask Nate real quick, or before we get the plugs?
Before we get to plugs, I did want to ask you. So if you could pick a project that was just like your dream project to put together, to write and direct, what would it be?
Oh, okay. So from a famous franchise or one that you don't know yet?
Fielder's choice.
Yeah, your choice. Whatever is the one that, like, when you hear that question, you're like, boom.
I'll give you two, because I'm not kidding about this.
Okay.
Slate Nash.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
That's a banana.
That's awesome.
I was not kidding. No one should think I'm bullshitting when I told Scott Mitchell Rosenberg, if I had the means, I would direct this.
That's incredible. That's very humbling.
Great characters in it, but of course, the series right now, it's not done. There's more.
But yeah, there will be more. I promise you that much.
I need resolution.
No, of course. I'll give you more. I promise, sir. I promise. Just a real quick drop, so people know. So Scott Mitchell Rosenberg, because Nate and I have a lot of respect for this guy as well, as well as John does. But Scott Mitchell Rosenberg, what he did years ago is he brought us Men in Black on the big screen. He fought. How many times he pitched it? 50-something times.
Yeah, over 50 times.
Over 50 times he pitched it.
And it was his one of his second worst performing comic. For Malibu. So the lesson there is some things that might not work well as a comic, he is able to look at and understand that it would work well as a film.
Right. Yeah.
And then he didn't give up.
I have all nothing but respect for John and for Scott for what they've been able to do.
Yep.
Yeah. Their vision essentially.
And then of course in this new company, Platinum Studios did do Cowboys and Aliens.
Yeah.
I love that movie. I really did.
Yeah.
That was such a fun movie.
It's and actually that one, the comic's pretty good. Actually. And there is more stuff being developed on there, which I can't really say right now. But this is all I can say. It's like, it's not dead. It's continuing, it's going, and stuff. And we're working on a couple other big pitches as well. As far as something that maybe you would recognize, I think I would love to do actually a Hellboy movie.
Nice timing. So. What did you think of, I guess, the previous help? I know you're obviously a big fan of Guillermo del Toro. What did you think of his version as well as the most recent one with David Harbour? What was your opinion on those?
Yeah, well, I can't really answer that because I have not seen the news version. So Nathan might understand this when you have little kids.
Yeah.
Because I could go out and escape and then come back, and the wife says, "So you went without me?" So I have to wait 4 months until it's out on Blu-ray, and then I'll watch it.
Mm-hmm.
So I can't say anything about that. What I can say about the Guillermo del Toro films is that, and again, we talked about this, is how he handles the characters.
Yeah.
The characters have so much personality, and it's not just Ron Perlman, who is, people don't know how generous he is on set.
Yeah.
So hey, have you all ever seen Name of the Rose?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yep.
Amazing film.
Yeah.
Amazing film. It was probably Sean Connery's best film. But one of the actors in there was Ron Perlman playing the Hunchback.
That's right. Yeah, he looks. Yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah.
And he's just absolutely exudes that character. He is that character through and through. That character spoke all languages. It's like French, Spanish, Italian, Latin, everything mixed together. It was this kind of crazy hunchback and stuff. And Ron Perlman was the one that did that. He made up the language. He spoke it all. He's like the director. If you listen to the commentary, gushed about him.
That's amazing.
So like, so have him as Hellboy and stuff, and what a strong presence.
Absolutely.
So that's, I think, what I like to do, and also plus the characters, like character that is just literally extraordinary, out of this world, but just wanting to fit in with humans. So I kind of love that, because I think that's something that a lot of people can relate to, and kind of it's, to me, it's so different than a lot of movies where you have the tough action hero,
right?
Exactly. And that's not what Hellboy is. Actually, he's actually got a very soft, gooey center.
Yeah.
And I mean, terrifically hard, crusty, powerful exterior, but a soft center,
right.
and which basically, he's, what's so beautiful about a character like that is they don't do heroic stuff because they're hard or they don't care or whatever. He can have all these problems and be scared and have
humanity,
flaws.
courage.
But he's it's because he's, and I think they said it in the movie, it's because of his imperfections, because he sometimes feels weak, because because he cares that he does these very heroic things.
Right.
So it makes me think that he'd do these heroic things if he wasn't Hellboy.
Right.
Yeah.
He didn't have that.
Exactly. And like you said, that makes like you said, that makes a great character, makes him relatable. The vulnerability makes him is what we cheer for, essentially. So I completely agree.
Yeah. And I think maybe when we were talking about Jack Burton, that was one thing that was so great about his character, was that he was so flawed.
Yes.
And he kind of had a big ego, but he also knew it. He also had he was very lovable in many other ways and stuff. And despite his flaws, and that he wasn't exactly that powerful or that good, he was still very brave.
Yes, exactly.
He went and did his thing, and through stumbling over this and that, whatever, managed to save the day.
Right, exactly. Right on. It feels like almost like it's an allegory for the John Lechago story. As someone who's willing to try, like you said before, failure is only the next step to success. Someone who's willing to put themselves out there and try different things, and it's not about being the biggest man on the block, it's about being the one that doesn't stop. So yeah,
right, exactly. Just keep on going. So what's fascinating about Slate? Sorry, wait, which one is Ash? What's fascinating about Slate and Ash? What's fascinating about Ash is that he has such an amazing, cool exterior.
Right. Facade. Yeah.
Cars seem to break down and melt underneath him, apparently.
Yeah, he does have a bad, yes. Yeah.
The wheels fall off and stuff, and he seems to enjoy just tearing it up, but then you have in between these scenes where you just see where he cares, where he struggles, where he actually cares, and everything, and then that makes his character interesting.
Right.
And then of course you mix it with Slate, which I still can't figure Slate out. I just want to give him a happy pill. It's just. But that's what makes it good, because actually then Ash is really the optimist.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's good. Definitely is.
The as imperfect as he is, just kind of dragging Slade along until it's like, okay, now you got to use your superpowers.
That's a perfect analogy. I need to get you to write the next issue of Slade and Ash. You have a better say than I do.
That's what made it work so well. That's why I'm like, this would be cool. I'd love to see it, because it's just like, it is actually, now I think of it, it's to me, from what I remember of your story, it's Ash just dragging Slade along until he's useful.
That's like Nate and I, pretty much. As Nate drags me around trying to do something worth doing.
Because Slade's not the one with the superpowers, but it's like,
Mopey hero.
So anyway.
Good. Well, thanks so much, John. I mean, was there? We know you have to go. You keep getting dinged. Your daughter coming in. Was there anything else? Obviously, the Deadly 10. Was there anything else you wanted to plug from what you're working on?
So the Deadly 10 Blade is happening, and we're going to be shooting in mid-August. Is our target date now? What I just set with Charles Band about a week ago, so hopefully we can lock that in fairly soon. So mid-August. If all goes well, Ethan will join me on set, whatever capacity he can, and I'll introduce him to Charles Band, because that is also not a bad way to get started. David S. Goyer,
right?
Films.
Just a few films.
Wow, that's
he wrote 2 films.
Yeah, just
for,
a few.
For Full Moon, and then he said, "Oh, screw this." Batman Begins, I guess, amongst others.
Yeah.
So, anyway, and he did do Blade 2 and Blade 3. So hopefully that'll work out, and then we can have a meeting with Scott Mitchell Rosenberg, because I hope actually, to me, I see. Platinum Studios has a lot of awesome projects and stuff, but we need some new, interesting writing stuff. So that's part of my plan. We'll see.
Right on.
Not official, just letting you know.
Right on. No, yes, fantastic.
I'm gonna try and get things going.
And you're a busy man.
I don't know how to write a comic book.
well, that's what I'm here for.
He's a really good teacher.
No, with your skills, with your overwhelming skill set, writing a comic book will be done in no time flat. I have no doubt. But thanks again so much, John. One real quick thing too. Like I mentioned before, I'm wearing a Superman shirt. Obviously, my John and I have nicknames for each other. We consider ourselves to be in the Justice League together. So my nickname for John, because he does so much and he's a badass, I call him Batman, and he calls me Superman because I'm so tall. So that's our official nicknames for each other. And his daughter, who does martial arts, is Batgirl. So
she's
nice.
No, you got superpowers. That's why you're Superman. You're still relatively young. So
relatively.
I think you have that Superman kind of attitude towards you. I'm kind of getting old and crusty, so Batman's good. He's a little bit freaking crazy.
Yes,
I love the notion of Batman. It's like, yeah, he's a billionaire. He could probably just save his city, reduce it.
He can fund it today and save it, but he refuses.
Yeah, I saw your post on Facebook on Ethan's page, and I was rolling this morning when I saw that.
It's like, why don't you just pay to? Yeah.
Must catch purse snatchers. Yeah.
That don't save everything.
Start after school programs for kids. Take them out of things. Do gang intervention stuff. Community rehab and everything. But no, let's build a Batmobile.
Let me dress up like a bat and jump off a building. Okay.
That'll fix everything.
that suit is just that's compelling in itself. So,
Oh yeah,
Right. Exactly.
So
wife and sexy, you know. But
Awesome.
that's why we love comic books and those characters and stuff like that. It is pure
Absolutely.
fans.
Absolutely.
oh yeah, definitely.
Absolutely. Right
No,
on.
never in that world are we going to write where a billionaire philanthropist will actually do the will actually do the right thing.
Yeah.
They'll do it the right thing in real life.
Right.
But not
Yeah.
Right. Like you said before,
Exactly.
the number one motto of "Thou'st not bore me," or the idea of that'd be too boring. Fixing things is boring.
Yeah.
Being crazy in the suit that's exciting.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, exactly. You know, it's like, oh, let's reduce mental health funding and then get people.
Reduce it. Awesome.
Oh, that's
Sorry,
awesome.
reduce mental health funding? No, cut it completely.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, exactly.
Awesome.
So,
Right.
well, thank you so much for joining us
Yes,
today. We
thank you,
really
Jen.
appreciate it. So yeah, thank you so much.
I look forward to seeing you in August. And
Yes.
We'll keep you guys updated on those on Platinum Studios stuff with St. Nash and the Deadly 10.
Awesome.
Awesome.
Right, cool. Thanks a lot, John. And until Becker, we say hey.
Yes.
All right, guys. Take care, gentlemen.
Take care. Thanks. So today's episode is brought to you by Amazon Prime. So if you haven't done Amazon Prime, you need to get your life together and do it.
Right. If you
Because
haven't done Amazon Prime.
yeah, like if you haven't subscribed to it,
There you
just really, I love you. I don't understand you, because really,
That's love in general.
Just-
is things you don't understand.
you
but
just don't
want.
understand.
Yeah.
But really, it's you've got a phenomenal content. I finally finished Marvelous Mrs. Maisel.
Look at you. Look
I
at you.
finally got
you're
to
a big boy
episode,
now.
the final episode of the second season. So I am done,
I'm so
and it was good. I was,
course, no, of course.
yeah, I really enjoyed it. I like where they kind of left it at the end there. That was very fun.
No, and that's the thing. Amazon Prime has such great shows. I started watching Hannah, another great show on Amazon Prime. Now, the one I'm actually really into, I don't know if you'll have time to get to this one, but it's called Fleabag. Have you heard of that one?
I have heard of that, yeah.
It's amazing. It's pretty much part of the thing is basically, if you can imagine, a female Deadpool in Britain talking about her sex life and showing it. That's the show.
I did. That seemed really intriguing
It's
to me.
amazing. 'Cause I believe she did write a lot of it too. So it's to see one person that's overwhelmingly talented displaying a lot of her talents.
Yeah.
And it's if you are an aspiring writer or creator like Nate and I are of course, or if you're just a creative person, it's a show that could inspire you in so many ways. Is seeing what a person can do.
Yeah.
Seeing what a show can do also.
Mhm.
So check that one out. And one last thing with Amazon Prime, I recently, for a con that we have coming up, I ordered a brand new like rack to hold all of our books because we have a lot more books now than we used to. And it said when I ordered it, it would come either Wednesday or Friday of this week. Of course, it came Monday morning.
Nice.
So Amazon Prime is always like they always kind of sandbag, but they're always really really quick and on time. So
Yeah.
Amazon Prime for the win as always.
Yes. Amazon Prime is awesome. So yeah, that was a great interview with John. I thought that was fantastic.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, he's a very gregarious guy, very generous, maybe delusional. He likes Slade Nash more than anyone should. But he's a great guy.
Hey, I would like to point out I have mine right up there.
First
Is that
edition.
one signed? I don't know if that one's signed. You haven't signed that one.
Again, it would lower the value so much if it was signed. But you have the original print.
I do have an
The
original print.
yeah.
I do have an original
The
print.
original
And the
print.
collector in me is saying don't sign it. So I'll get another. I will buy another comic and then have you sign that. And then that way I'll have a signed third printing and an original
Nice.
print. They'll both be worth more than my house someday.
And ironically enough, where you can pick up the new prints this week will be at the convention that you and I
Yes.
were both going to attend.
Yes. Unfortunately, though, if you are hearing this, it's already happened.
Yes.
This is in the past.
This is the past.
But I want to say that any of you who have come, all of you that have come out, because I'm sure many of you have in the DC, no, Tyson's Corner.
It's the DC area.
Yeah, it's close. Yeah, it's close to DC. For those of you in the DC area, that would be fantastic to see you. We would love it, and we loved it. It's in the past.
It was fantastic to have seen you.
Yes,
seeing you was great.
Yes, we're currently in an endgame loop right now. We're recording it prior to,
right,
but you're hearing it post. So I really have no idea what that means for the space-time continuum, but So
as long as one of us went back with Peggy Carter, it worked, I guess.
Yes, exactly.
But we did promote this.
Spoilers.
Oh, God. Sorry about that. But we did promote this in previous weeks as well. And we will actually, I'm sure this has been up on our social media too. Like Facebook and stuff too. So you'll know about it ahead of time. We're not sandbagging that much. Yeah. So if you did not know, then we apologize that you can't read. No. That's an apology.
I'm being really snarky with our listeners today, and I really shouldn't be, because I love all of you. I love you all.
We do.
You spend your valuable time listeling to us yabber on for an hour of your week.
No idea why.
But we love you for it. We really do. But yeah, if you didn't know about it, we did try everything we could to make sure you were aware. And again, check out Facebook too. Take this opportunity to check out our Facebook page, Creativity in Progress, on Facebook. Just search for that, and you should find us. Our logo is there. We post everything that we do, and as well as, sometimes we get in lively discussions. Sometimes we post fun voting stuff and everything. I did a little mini plugging session prior to the actual plugging session. We've got some news today.
We do. And I would say that it's mostly good.
But I would like to tell you, I want to explain. I can't reenact it, but I'm going to try to describe the noise that exited my body when I read this news.
Preach.
Not really. I'm going to spare our listeners.
How about we do it this way? I'll say it to you, and then you just do your reaction.
Oh, see, I couldn't recreate. I really couldn't. And plus, I want to be the one that says it.
Of course.
The Russo brothers. The Russo brothers of Avengers: Infinity War Endgame fame are connected. Yes. They are involved with
what is it?
The Netflix Magic the Gathering animated series.
That means that literally Nicol Bolas himself is in the hands of Joe and Anthony Russo.
Yes. And but you know what's really hilarious about all of this?
Everything, I'd say.
So I'm going to try to keep it under wraps, people, because literally Ethan can see that I'm vibrating
with joy.
Okay. I'm like, I finally get to talk about this. I have a reason. So what's really hilarious about this is, I've mentioned Ravnica War of the Spark, the set that the expansion set that just came out, and the book that was just released
a time or two.
Yeah, I just mentioned a couple times. I will admit I kept it it's a small little mentions, but I haven't gone crazy. Wipe that smile off your face. But one of the funny things about it was now I may be wrong, but it was either the week of Endgame or the week before. It was right around that time when that set released.
Oh, okay.
And it was getting it was weird because technically War of the Spark was Magic the Gathering's Endgame. Like,
it seemed,
it was the big major battle with the big bad, and it actually was very similar in some of its execution. In fact, the beginning of the story that came out like years ago,
right?
It picked a set of characters, planeswalkers, that were kind of they became the Gatewatch,
like the Avengers of sorts from
exactly.
Yeah.
In fact, one of the characters' name is Jace, and they were jokingly, lovingly called the Justice League.
Wow.
And so and then what this story is them dealing with trying to figure out what Nicol Bolas is trying to do, and all those.
And I guess Nicol Bolas in some sense would be the Thanos more or less.
Yes, he would be the Thanos, and he had all these like crazy like stories upon or like plans upon plans and backup plans and all these things, and he was always like 20 steps ahead of the good guys and everything.
Did he have like any kind of is there a Power Stone analogy? Did he have some kind of something he was using like that?
Kind of.
Was trying to acquire like that?
Yes, kind of actually. It all came down to he found something called the Elder Spell, which essentially made it where he could suck out the spark.
Sure.
In Planeswalkers in Magic the Gathering, the spark is what makes them able to travel the planes.
Right on.
And he figured out a way where he could harvest the sparks from Planeswalkers, and it kills them in the process.
Okay. Yeah.
And then he takes those sparks, and if he gets enough of them, he becomes a god.
Yeah, that's very similar. Yeah, that's very.
The only difference was that he wasn't doing it for any other reason other than the fact he just wanted to be a god. He wanted to be the end all be all of the world.
Right.
And it just so happened that Avengers Endgame and War of the Spark landed at essentially the same time. So there was inevitably comparisons made.
Well, it does sound like synchronicity a bit too. They managed to have two similar events that happen completely unrelated to each other that happen, but they barely have a lot of parallels and similarities.
Yeah. In fact, Mark Rosewater, who's the head designer of Magic the Gathering, he said on multiple occasions, he said, I know people are thinking that like we planned this. He said, we totally did not plan this. We had no idea. It just kind of happened at the same time.
Very happy accident.
Yeah, it was a happy accident, and it was interesting, and it was kind of like, oh, interesting coincidence kind of thing. But the Russo brothers are going to be involved. Apparently, the Russo brothers have been Magic the Gathering fans since the game came out back in '93. So they've been fans. They've loved the story. They've loved playing the game. And so once they were like, okay, well, I guess we're done with Avengers. We got something to do. Let's do this. And I said to Ethan today in the messaging when I sent it to him, I was like, I'm so happy.
I could see the tears through the phone.
Yeah, it was pretty crazy. But what was funny was prior to this, like they had been talking about that they were going to make Magic the Gathering into a movie or a TV show. It was kind of up in the air. We really didn't know what they were going to do with it. And I honestly have never, my expectations for a project has never changed so drastically, so quickly, because like I seriously thought that this project was going to be a dumpster fire.
Of course. Why wouldn't you? I mean, look at the track record of these kind of adaptations. I mean, usually video games like World of Warcraft, but they're not the most respected. Yeah. But then you have the Russo brothers who've done they made Captain America with Winter Soldier with them and Marcus McFeely, the writers. They turned a character like Captain America and made him so lovable and likable. Yeah. To the point where people were, cheering him on in movies. Yeah. If they can do the same thing with Magic, bring Magic to the forefront, put it in the mainstream of people who, like me, who don't generally care that much about it, do the same thing, give it the Russo treatment as they call it. I mean, it could be better. What better? Think about it. What better track record could any directors these days have? But in the Russo brothers, and they're the top of the game. Yeah, seriously, they are probably some of the hottest names in Hollywood in terms of directors, and Magic the Gathering got them. And now again, I'm not exactly sure what they're going to be doing in the project, but they are connected to it. They're closely connected to it, and it's going to be an animated series. It's on Netflix. Yeah. I'm really excited because number one, Netflix, they've been putting out quality content. The fact that it's going to be animated is nice because to do Magic the Gathering live action, you would need Avengers money. Full blown effects.
Yeah, you would need full blown effects. You would need Avengers level money to be able to do it. Just for the effects, like not even necessarily for the names of for the who would play the characters. Yeah. But yeah, so it was just really exciting. It was just really exciting to see that, and with Magic the Gathering Arena, which is coming out now, it has actually caused the interest in Magic to explode. Of course, obviously. Like it's insane. And
it's only going to rise even more as more of the things develop.
Oh obviously. Yeah, and like Hasbro literally, like in fact, it was. I think was it the first quarter call this year? I think the first quarter of this year, Hasbro's finances actually started to turn around since the tanking of Toys R Us.
I know,
and
Jesus.
Yeah, and because they've been hurting hard since that happened. Well, their stuff is starting to turn around now, and to show you how important Magic the Gathering is to their portfolio now. Yeah. The president of Hasbro spent 8 minutes of the 15-minute investor call talking about Magic the Gathering.
Jeez.
And So that tells you, like, of all the properties, we're talking like Transformers, we're talking Nerf, we're talking,
Star Wars figures.
Yeah, like just the Star Wars.
That's Hasbro. Yeah, that's Hasbro. Hasbro Star Wars.
Yeah, Hasbro Star Wars, I believe. All of these things have just shifted. Their Magic has totally shifted, and Arena is a big part of that. And I think this will be another thing that will bring more people to it, which is interesting. In fact, I see on the subreddit every day somebody's coming in saying, I want to get into paper Magic. I have no idea where to start. I came in through Arena. I go down to the game store now, and like every draft that I do down at the game store, at least one of the person drafting said, "Oh, this is my first draft. I just usually do it on Arena."
New blood. New blood.
It's new blood. It's going to be awesome.
I imagine that people are always talking about what would be the next new wave of the next new hit, essentially the next new trend. After the superhero films, people thought it'd be the video games, and that's not quite. They've tried. They've taken a couple swings at the bat, not so much at the plate. It seems like it might be actually tabletop, because obviously we've had with Stranger Things, we were talking about D&D in season 1. D&D blew up after that. And then we also, like you talk about now, going down to the store, talking about paper Magic. You're getting more and more fans, more and more blood in there, and this is going to generate more interest too. So I wonder if actually it'll be. This will be the new trend. This will be the next thing that people follow, even in Hollywood or whatnot, is Magic or card games or tabletop games instead.
Yeah. Well, and I think, and one thing Magic has that a lot of other, and D&D has this as well, a very rich lore to it, which is it's kind of like comic books in the fact that it's like, oh wow, we have so much we can mine here, So that was one bit of news I was very excited about when I saw it. I was like, I finally get to talk about the card game. That's about as close as the sound was as I can get that I made this morning.
All the dogs in the neighborhood are barking like crazy.
Yeah, I know. My dogs were like, huh?
No, but that's fair. I of course would have been remiss if I didn't let you pontificate and gush extensively about it. So kudos to you, my friend. Kudos to you. Kudos to you indeed.
Thank you. Like how I have any involvement with it other than not being a Uber fan.
Well, I mean, part of it is the support of the fans is what drives these things to happen.
Yeah.
So I know you go on there daily to Reddit forums and to the card stores and everything that hobby shops. And so people like you, the fans, are what make these things a reality.
Yeah.
Keep in mind, the Russo brothers themselves are fans.
Yeah.
So it's these things happen.
Cool. So that does it with that bit of news. So Ethan, you said we have a phone call?
I'm afraid we do.
Incoming call. Here we go.
Hey, I have a question. How do you feel about Robert Pattinson being cast as the new Batman?
Fantastic question. Thank you so much, caller. I know some callers aren't leaving their names as much. That's perfectly fine, however you're going to do it. But that's a fantastic question. Nate, as I literally saw you busting several nuts, do you want to...
I wouldn't exactly describe it like that.
do you want to field this question first, or should I?
Well, I'm... Okay, so... You feel it.
Okay. All right. So
I have feelings, but I also have
feelings.
You got
have feelings, and you also have feelings.
Yeah.
So, but I'll let Nate keep sighing in the background while I say, and this is going to surprise and upset Nate, but I'm used to doing that all the time. I'm actually on board with it.
Really?
And now there's a few reasons. First and foremost, history has shown us not to overreact to casting.
Yeah.
Every single time we as fans nerd out and go crazy and go ballistic on stuff, we're pretty much put in our place.
Yeah.
And I've learned since Heath Ledger, I said, you know what? Never again. I will always wait until the finished product comes out before I get past any judgment. Number 2, I've actually watched Robert Pattinson's career change and grow. And pretty much he himself has admitted several times how much he hates the Twilight films for numerous reasons. And I started watching some of his other movies and other things, other projects he's done. He's an amazing actor. Everything from The Rover to Good Times. He's actually really, really good. What's it? What Are for Elephants? Or is it not What Are for Elephants? But that movie too, where he's at the circus with the elephants. But it's pretty much like he was almost branded by that Twilight curse in a way, and it's actually that doesn't really display his abilities at all.
Yeah.
He's actually a much, much, much bigger actor than that. And also the third reason, and then I'll wrap up, is just that we've seen so many iterations of Batman so many times now, and they essentially try to do the same thing, but just in a slightly different way. Is that they keep him in the same wheel that just rolls a little faster, a little slower. He's a completely different thing. He's basically a hydro engine or something. And he will bring a very different perspective to that character. And he actually, if you look at Robert Pattinson, he pretty much is Batman. He has the playboy prettiness to him and everything like that. But you can tell he's a lot of darkness and brooding stuff inside him. If he brings some of that to the actual to the big screen, it'll be a very different iteration and perspective to the character. And I'm really excited to see what he can do with this. Something very different, something vastly different. Also, Matt Reeves trusts in him, and Matt Reeves brought us the last two films in the Planet of the Apes series of more recent years, and they were great. And I trust Matt Reeves as well. So if Matt Reeves was trying to cast for a detective-driven Batman film, Batman story, and whatever R. Pat's brought seemed to fit that role, I'm on board with it. I trusted him. So that's my perspective. Now, granted, I could be proven completely wrong. I daily am. Just ask anyone I've ever been around. But I'm willing to give it the benefit of the doubt now, because what do we have to lose?
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's the thing. Like so the reason why I, was pulling a muscle over here, trying not to make disgusted noises, is because my knee jerk reaction is no,
yes,
my God, because, and frankly, it's because of the Twilight films. Like, he has a stigma about him, and I haven't watched the other movies, so that's kind of the thing is the angsty 20-year-old guy who I just want to smack. But that being said, like you said, the Heath Ledger was when Heath Ledger was announced as the Joker, I was skeptical. I didn't, I wasn't like some people who were like, oh my God, I will never watch a Batman film again.
Most people were like that.
Yeah, a lot of people were very upset about it. But I was aware that Heath Ledger actually was a very good actor. So I was interested in his take. Yeah. And I'll admit, even when I saw the early pictures of him, I was like that. I actually lost more faith when I saw the early pictures, because I was like, that is a vast departure of the Joker I know and love. Right. And but then I saw the movie. And holy poop. I to this day, I think Heath Ledger is one of the best iterations of the Joker on film.
I agree.
I know it's a bit sacrilege to say, I like it better than the Jack Nicholson.
Oh, by far. Yeah. For me, it's Heath Ledger as far as physical appearance, and then Mark Hamill as far as voice.
Oh yeah, exactly.
Nothing else. It's those two alone.
Exactly. And just the oh God, like it was just a really good thing. And then we had Ben Affleck.
Say it. Yeah.
He was another where when they announced him,
and it broke. It literally shut down because we were reacting so hard.
Yeah, like it was rough. And I even remember I will admit I got a little bit of my high horse and posted on Facebook. What I did was I took quotes that people had said after Heath Ledger had thing, but I didn't acknowledge that until the end. Like I had like saying like, I'll never watch Batman again. This is the dumbest decision. Yeah. And then these are all things that were said after Heath Ledger was cast, and he ended up being an amazing Joker. And that also kind of ended up like to Ben Affleck. Say what you want about the Justice League and Man vs. Steel, or not Man vs. Batman vs. Superman. Say what you want about those two films. Ben Affleck was probably the best thing of those movies.
He committed. Yeah. I mean, for Batman v Superman, definitely. In Justice League, he was pretty much already checked out because he was like, I'm done with this. But for Batman v Superman, he was 100% committed. There was no doubt in my mind. It's like, this guy 100% came to play.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah. And like there were bits about, like I know you mentioned in a recent episode about how he made a little quip in the middle of a fight that Batman never would have done.
No, but also that's not him. That's the writing and everything else.
Exactly. Exactly. But as Batman, as an older Batman, as a, as Bruce Wayne, he just knocked it out of the freaking park.
I couldn't agree more.
So I'm holding judgment. Like I have my knee jerk reaction, which is no.
Sure. And everyone does. Everyone. When I first heard about R-Pass, I was like, what? I did the same reaction. And then I stewed on it for a while. And I thought about it. I calmed down. I got off my high horse, Betsy. And I said, okay. Okay.
Yeah. So I think I think we should wait and see.
I agree.
We should wait and see. And I hope it's good. I really do.
That's the biggest thing. So let's get real here.
Yeah.
It seems like this day of toxic nerdidity, lots of nerds almost think about it though, all the different you mentioned with Star Wars that I had the whole trying to boycott different films because of either having a mixed race cast or having women in there or whatnot. And people are trying to boycott Solo and boycott. People are trying to get for Game of Thrones season 8. They're having these different. I'm sure you've seen it before. They're having these petitions for redoing season 8 and all these things that nerds feel so entitled these days. It's like people are. Why don't you actually? Do you actually want to be entertained, or do you want things to fail? You and I are in the camp and we want to be entertained. We want things to succeed. Wouldn't it be awesome if the Magic the Gathering, the series, is fantastic? Oh yeah. Wouldn't that make you so happy? Yeah. Wouldn't it be awesome if our pets is an amazing Detective Batman? Wouldn't that be great? So it's like, shouldn't we hope for the best? Shouldn't we be some to quote Jean Lechago, be more like Ash, be more optimistic? So it's like that's why I think nerds have, I don't know what happened over the years, but we've gotten so wrapped up in our own what we believe to be the right way to do things, or approach movies or projects or shows or whatnot, that anytime something's even slightly different, we have so much of a pushback that it's just gotten so overwhelmingly vehemently toxic that it's hard to even be a nerd these days. Yeah. And I want us to like you said, reserve judgment, take a step back, breathe a bit, and just see what happens. Yeah. See what happens. Yeah. I fully agree. So I hope it goes well. You know, our Pats, more power to you. Yeah. Please do right by us. Please. And if you don't, well, I'm sure there'll be another Batman movie sometime around back. That's the thing. They definitely will be. Yeah. 100% will be. I hope they answered the caller's question. Yes, thank you for calling in. Yeah, thank you for calling in. We love getting these calls. They're great. They're great. Because I actually, Nate and I wanted to address this topic, but we didn't actually have a chance to. So when Nate heard the call, if y'all could have seen him. Yeah. I've rarely seen a grown man turn into a little giddy boy that much in my life. Yeah, exactly. So okay, but yeah, so thank you for calling in, and you too can call in by oh Jesus, see, I didn't have it set up. I got it. Let me see. Let me see. We leave the party in. Who cares? Yeah, we're in a race. 434. Number. 998 something. Number. Something Hujawachi and the Wacky. The Wacky. That's right. Oh yes. You too can call us 434-481-1787, and we will happily play your call. So Ethan, yes, I think we have officially arrived at the plugging section. Would you like to plug anything yourself, anyone, anything? Here's the thing. I'll say this much. So I don't know if you watched, of course not, you have time, but there's a Netflix movie that came out called The Perfection. Have you heard of this? I have not heard of it. No. I'm going to show you the lead in that movie after this. Now we're fine. The warden's way up there. She can't hear us or see us. Okay. The lead in that movie, Logan Browning, my friend. My birthday is in March. You have to find a way to give me her. Just give me. So my word! I would like to plug her. I mean the movie. Oh my goodness! Wait! Like to plug the movie The Perfection, just so you can see her. Okay. Three O's from Nate. Usually he's a 2-0 man, but 3 O's. Okay. And understanding dawns. Yeah. Okay. So I'd like to plug that movie. Okay. As always, I'd like to plug. Sorry, look at the picture. I have no idea where I am, who I am, what words are. I'm moving that. Okay, here's a picture of me in a bikini. Okay, God, there is no God. I need to burn my eyes out. I like to plug our website where Nate and I are both featured to an exhaustive extent. EchelonGnovels.com. And our Instagram, I'm going to start doing a lot more images because of the con and stuff. We have a lot more images up there pretty soon, which is just CiP podcast. And as always, I would like to plug creativity. Be creative, as John was talking about before. Just put yourself out there, find something you're passionate about, and try. And bug somebody until you get somewhere. Yes, and everything that goes for dating. Asking for a day pass to go to a convention, everything. Now, Nate. How about you, sir?
Well, before I go into my Micro Machine Man section of the show, there is actually something I did want to plug, and this is for our local folks. So if you are local to the Charlottesville area and you are a comic book fan, then I highly, 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 highly recommend that you check out Telegraph Comics. They have two locations. They used to just have one, but now they have two. They have one on the downtown mall, and then now they have a new one in the Rio Hill Shopping Center. It is the location of Atlas Comics. If you're familiar with Atlas Comics, it is now Telegraph Uptown, and I highly recommend that you check that out. I was in there yesterday. I spoke with the owner, and yeah, I was very excited. There's a lot of new exciting stuff coming that I'm not going to announce right now because some of it may not. They don't want to necessarily be on blast, but they've got a lot of exciting stuff happening. And I really like they're really great people. And if you're local to there, even if you're not local, look them up. And I think you can get stuff via their Facebook store and stuff like that. So look them up, check them out. Telegraph Comics and Telegraph Uptown is fantastic. They're a fantastic group of folks. So yeah, check that out.
It's a couple that runs the store, that owns the store, manages it, and they have talking about creativity and passion.
Mm-hmm.
Typically, no offense, but comic shops are generally kind of like not the most. They're a bit more niche comic book shops. They're kind
just a shade,
to put it mildly. Their stores are they're beautifully well organized places to go, venues to go. If you're like into comic books, stop by the place, you might actually get something out of it. Yeah. So yeah, give them a shot.
Yeah, technically, and people who are comic book fans, or even anybody who's vinyl fans or something, you'll kind of know what this is, or even gaming fans. Yes. You'll know this happens with those kinds of businesses where you will find stores, and essentially what they are is they are people who are really into that thing, who are like, I want to open a store. And then so you have somebody who loved their hobby so much that they opened up a store and they're now running a business, and that doesn't necessarily always work.
No.
Where these folks who run Telegraph, they are business people who run a comic book store. They love comics.
Yes.
They love art.
Yes.
And they are really good, but they are business people first. Yes. And you can tell it by the decisions they make, the way their store looks, just everything. They're just fantastic folks. And it's really nice to have something like that here in the Charlottesville area. So I wanted to make sure I plug them, and I will probably continue to do so because I like them so much.
Well, and also we are doing signings with them. They reached out to me again because I did a sign with them years ago, and I haven't done it recently. But after this convention, which has already happened, we're doing it, and Nate will be there too. We do another signing at Telegraph. Maybe both venues, but I will definitely be there. Ethan will be signing stuff. I will just be standing there and going, listen to our podcast. Come on out, check it out, and we will keep you posted on any events like that. Okay, so now I will go into my spiel. You can find the podcast at echelongnovels.com/CIP. And you can sign up for our newsletter there. You can find me at Nate at NathanBeattyVO.com or at my website, www.nathanbeattyvo.com. As I mentioned earlier in the show, you can call us at 434-481-1787. And you can email the podcast directly at creativityinprogresspodcast@gmail.com. We'll be happy to hear any questions you have. We'll read any of your emails on the air if you want us to. Just check that out. And finally, if you would like to donate to us so that way we can do new cool stuff, we can continue to do what we do, you can go to patreon.com/creativity in progress podcast. And I lied about the finally bit. You also can check us out at YouTube. We are on YouTube, Creativity in Progress on YouTube. And we post the podcast up there. We post weekly episodes of mini-sodes of the podcast, but visually, so you get to see our fabulous faces. So make sure you check us out on iTunes, check us out on Spotify, all the places where you get your goodness, get your ear goodness. You can get us there. And now, finally, I am not lying this time. Our intro and outro music is the song Amigos by Platinum Butterfly. Copyright 2015, licensed under Creative Commons Attribution 3.0. You can find more of their stuff at dig.ccmixter.org, featuring Clarence Simpson and Susan Ooze Oz. But not our best friend, Susan.
Yeah, not our best friend, Susan, but I'm sure a very lovely Susan nonetheless.
I'm sure she's lovely.
Thank you so much for listening, and I hope y'all have a wonderful day.
Clarence Thomas.
I'll get on that.
Thank you.
That was a really bad turn of phrase. Really bad turn of phrase.
It's better than plugging her. I'm glad you didn't plug her.
Oh, God, we're sexist pigs.